I really don't want to do this video, but hey, this is FFTV and we got to cover everything. So let's go through 5 things that we learned from yesterday's shocking performance. Good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you are well, and welcome to your match analysis for Blackpool 4, Forest 1. Anyway, let's not say that scoreline too loud. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to tonight because Lee Charles is coming on for Grumpy Old Reds. We'll be kicking that off around 8:45. Please come in and help us defend ourselves. Help us defend the indefensible. And the indefensible it was. But we are going to try and be objective on the video here today. And we're going to look at 5 things we learnt from yesterday. And I want you guys to get involved either in the live chat during the premiere or, of course, in the comments down below. And tell me what you agree with what I'm about to say and what you disagree, and probably all of it, with what I'm going to mention. So let's get into thing number 1 that we learnt from yesterday. Let's start it with the positive, and probably one of the only positives we can take, and it is this man right here. He is the real deal. Some of you have said I've overhyped him over the last few months as I've built up to his arrival at Nottingham Forest, as he skated into the city grounds, as he just lit up everywhere he went. And I don't think those people that were saying that are saying it anymore. My argument still stands. You chuck him in for every important game that we have. He is that good. He is match sharp. He is match fit. And he has a footballing brain like we haven't seen in a long time at Nottingham Forest. On top of that, he's going to be the person who brings in the other players, makes them perform, makes them better. Imagine him playing the way he did yesterday with the likes of maybe Jono on the right-hand side, with Owoni up front, with Morgan Gibbs-White pairing with him. Think of the link-up play he can produce. I can't wait to see him hopefully start against Leicester. Cooper, if you're listening, Scarpa is the first name on the team sheet. Do you guys agree with me on that point? Or are there still some of you who are saying, bed him in slowly, let him get up to the pace of the English game? Surely you can't be saying that anymore. Let me know down below. The second thing we learnt from yesterday's game is Sam Surridge is not cut out for the Premier League. The argument between him and Owoni is well and truly dead, in my opinion. Those of you who have been avid Sam fans, I need to hear from you now, and I need to know what you think about his performance yesterday. Is it too harsh to judge a striker based on one performance? I don't actually think so, and I don't think Cooper would disagree with me either. Otherwise, we would have seen a lot more of Sam Surridge in recent weeks in the Premier League. However, we have not. He had his chance yesterday, and this is the key point I want to make. When you are given one chance in this league, in this environment, you have to be good enough to take that chance, to give the manager doubt and question whether or not you should be starting. And I think, if anything, he helped the manager yesterday by making it crystal clear that he is not ready for that step up. If you can't cut it against Blackpool, who are floating in the relegation zone in the Championship, not even the Premier League, who haven't won a game since October, who leak goals more than a sieve does, then should you really think yourself to be considered for a starting place in a Premier League game? For me, it's a no. Yes, it's harsh, but this is cutthroat. This is football. There's no room for sentiment, and there's no room to remember the great goals he scored last season. And as I mentioned on the player ratings yesterday, Sam Surridge was never a first choice at Nottingham Forest, not even in the Championship. The only reason he got those late run of games last year was because Keenan Davis was injured with his cheese string hamstrings. And he did step up and he did perform. Let's not discredit how good his goals were last season. But the whole argument, and I think I may have said it once or twice in the past, that he is a great finisher and the greatest finisher in our club, for me, that argument died yesterday. Let me know what you think on Sam Surridge. Point number 3 is my biggest bugbearer pretty much all season. And I'm going to put 2 players in this equation. The 2 C's, Cook and Colback. Cook is not Championship level. Surridge maybe. Cook isn't even Championship level at the moment. He was atrocious yesterday. He wasn't able to keep up with the pace of the Blackpool attack. He lost his man, especially if you look back at the fourth goal from the corner. He was at least 3 paces behind the man he was meant to be marking. And overall, as I said in the player ratings, all he seems to want to do is play Pong with McKenna. Pong, 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 back and forth, back and forth. They don't know how to progress the ball forward. They keep playing Pong until they get pressed, and then they give it back to the keeper, and it forces the keeper to punt it long. For me, Cook should not be in the squad, let alone in the starting 11, and yesterday made that crystal clear for me. I'll give him his due. He had a fantastic game against Liverpool. A lovely cross in for the goal. But outside of that, I have said from the beginning of the season, he has not got the pace to cut it at the Premier League. If you guys want to defend Cook, I am more than happy to have the discussion with you guys. So get your comments in the live chat and in the comments down below. But for me, Cook's got to go. And then Colback. Colback, the one who it's clear for me for a long time with Colback, he is not Prem level quality. I don't mind him being used as a late time-killing sub. Fine. Put him on in midfield. He can get his tackles in. He can get his obligatory yellow card. But he is not a starter, and no way should he be ahead of O'Brien in the pecking order. We have just discussed, though, O'Brien on the previous video, so make sure you check that out after this if you haven't seen it already. But in terms of what he can produce at a Premier League level, for me, it's a 0. And he's got to go. He's got to go. We have to be cutthroat. You guys, well, not you guys, but some guys are too sentimental about the way he stepped in last season to fill in at left wing back. The way he scored that goal against West Brom and things like that. That's fantastic. I was the first one celebrating all that stuff. But sentiment, there's 0 room for it in the Premier League. If you're going to be sentimental, you're going to go down. We need improvements in that position. And that will bring us on to point number 4. Point number 4 is the depth in squad and the severe lacking of it. That was a second string team we put yesterday against Blackpool. That team should be strong enough to probably get promoted themselves from the Championship. There is enough quality in that to play at a Championship level. However, you take Scarpina out of that game yesterday and God only knows what the scoreline would have been. But that team in general was woeful. Woeful. I've said it for a long time about Nico Williams. He's going to be a good player, but it's not his time yet. Thank God we have Aurier at right back. Tuffalo is only second in my eyes to Lodi. Tuffalo, probably I'm not too, I think he can play in the Premier League, but I still think Lodi's better. But the rest of that team was woeful. It really was. Look, there's a massive argument about Dennis. I still think there's a player in him, and I think you guys are treating him unfairly, those of you who do want him out. There's a lot of good things he did yesterday, and the only thing everyone seems to want to mention is his passing. The players have to be there to receive a pass. But you also need a player like Dennis who's ready to get his head down and attack. Look, when you look at the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, etc., and I'm no way comparing Dennis to them, but they will lose the ball 7 or 8 times out of 10. But you only remember the 2 out of 10 where they go and do that mazy run and score the goal. Yes, you can argue at least they've scored the goal. Dennis hasn't. But that's the type of player he is, where he will get his head down and he will drive the opponent's line backwards, and that in turn pushes us up the pitch. And that's the thing that a lot of people are forgetting about. So I still want Dennis to remain at Nottingham Forest, and I still think with a run in the team, the other thing that people forget is what he did last season for Watford. Scoring all the goals that he did, getting the assists that he did, which in turn means he had to pass the ball. He is Prem proven and he can work in a struggling team. Give him a run. Talk about his attitude all you want, but all players have some kind of ego about them. They do. But look how he's bonded with the likes of Owoni, with the likes of Lodi, with the likes of Scarpina. There is a bond between those 4 players, and that can only grow, and we need to nourish it. But I'll finish on Dennis with this point. There was 9 other players on that pitch who need to be questioned first before he does. That would be my argument. Let me know your thoughts down below. And point number 5 finally, and we'll try and finish on our positive Going out of the FA Cup is actually a good thing for Nottingham Forest this season. Look, we had our run in the sun last year in the FA Cup and it was fantastic. Tonking Leicester, tonking Arsenal, and then being screwed by Liverpool as they bent those offside lines at the City ground. Yes, I said it. But this season, we don't need the FA Cup. Look, it hurts to lose. I hate losing. I'm the world's biggest sore loser and the biggest sore winner as well, for that fact. But after sleeping on it, it doesn't matter. We'll go and beat Wolves on Wednesday. We'll tonk them. And then we'll go and we'll rise up the Premier League. Those are the two key things now. FA Cup would have caused more match congestion, would have caused more fixtures, potentially more injuries and everything like that. So I see it as a blessing in disguise. Would I have preferred a different scoreline? 100%. Look, if we'd lost it 1-0 with a scrappy goal but some good performances, I'd have been fine with that. If I'd seen some of the players, the fringe players stepping up, that's all I wanted to see yesterday, but we didn't see it. But in the light of day, a new dawn has risen, so to speak. And going out of the FA Cup will help us, not hinder us, for our longer term objectives this season. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll see you at 8:45 tonight for Grumpy Old Reds Live with Lee Charles. Please do subscribe if you are new here. Like the video as well. And don't forget, we've got a dedicated Nottingham Forest Discord. The link is in that link tree, which is in the description. Go in, join there, and let's talk Forest 24/7. Go follow us on Twitter. Do all the other stuff that you need to do. You know the drill. And we'll see you tonight at 8:45 for our ass whipping. It's going to be brutal. Come on, you Reds.